forget even talking about your money, just being on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like why didn't you care, or why don't you care about like what people think as much?
I mean, the way that I looked at it is that I used to watch and still watch people sharing things online. So what's the difference between me and them?
Yeah.
Nothing. You know?
Just
So
confidence.
is
literally
it that
just-
like they're not better than I am or
Yeah.
worse than I am, so why can't I do it also?
Yeah, and
That's true.
it's kind of how we look at money too. Like we're not better than you.
Yes.
The person at the bank who's using all these big words, they're not better than you either, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And you
it's
just had that in you. I feel like you did.
Yeah, like I don't know. Go.
I was just going to say, I was the opposite though. Like for me, it was hard. I never wanted to be shy, but I've always had to break out of it, right? So when we started even posting on YouTube at all, he had to edit the videos. You naturally would have been better anyway, but I couldn't even hear my voice back, right? Like cringing at myself. Finally get used to it. Okay, cool. The CNBC Make It thing, I was so nervous. It's also my parents are pretty private, so opening up about me is opening up about them. Like they've had to get used to stuff about them being shared, right?
That's true.
And so there's all those different pieces. So I always was willing to do it, always. And that's what I would always tell him. Don't worry, I'll do it, but I have to freak out first and like maybe shed a tear and then I can do it. But that was my thing first. But I always wanted to. Like I felt the same way. It was just harder to get there.
Yeah.
And it was getting over myself a bit too. Like one of the biggest lessons I've learned is whether people hate you or love you, it's the same thing because they don't really know you. So you can't like be like, oh, they said something positive about me, so I'll take that as fact. They said something negative. Oh, they don't know me. Both are true. Like the person who likes you doesn't know you either. You have to stay steady in yourself the whole time.
It's like the don't get too high, don't get too low.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, yeah.
And so I think that was the bigger thing. But for me, like what expedited me being pushed to do that is you being so like, who cares? Just do it. He doesn't really entertain it. Like
if this is our goal, if this is what we want to do, if this is what we believe is like meant for us, then let's do it.
Okay.
There's no.
And a big part of that,
You
I
know?
guess, is also not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Because I think that holds a lot of people back in terms of like, you know, I think what you said, you alluded to, but like, what is, in the end, what is the big deal? Like, you know, I'm me.
Yeah.
It is who I am, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's a lot easier said than done, by the way.
Well, I think that helps me too is I am motivated by feeling like I'm actually doing something helpful or impactful. You know this, I actually am. So if you got to pitch it to me like being transparent about money will help people.
Okay.
Like it actually really will.
Okay.
Not a lot of people are. Okay, I can do that. I can be the person that's going to be transparent because it's going to help people. Like that helps me be motivated.
I also feel like growing up, I had a lot of questions that I never got answers to. You know, I just. Whether it's money wise, right? Like you're growing up, you see certain people who quote unquote have money. How? You know? How?
I love that. It's
Right?
like, he has money.
How'd that happen?
How do you have money?
They're like,
right?
oh, I don't know.
Like I used to ask people like, what does your dad or what does your mom do for work? You know?
We're both curious.
How much money do they make?
in that way.
You know?
Oh.
Like people aren't gonna answer, but
Yeah. But that's what we are. We're going to answer. We'll share it, you know? Yeah.